Dr. Ernest has dropped the bombshell on Ghana football and the two biggest clubs. The chief executive of the Business African Consulting Group is calling out Ghana's two biggest clubs, Asante Kotoko and Hearts of Oak, saying they are the worst-run clubs in the country. According to Dr. Koranteng, Kotoko and Hearts of Oak don't just suffer from poor management, they are actively part of the problem. He argues that these clubs elect FA officials, help constitute the FA, and then sit back, letting the system run itself into the ground.
A Balebe commission they make reference to is how many years old? 24 years old.
Yeah.
24.
Way out of tune.
No, 24. So you see, this is the starting point. That
Amy said we shouldn't play House Kotoko matches.
Listen, guys, we've got to be serious. These clubs, whether it's Hearts or Kotoko, I mean, the two worst administered teams in this country, Hearts and Kotoko, they are the worst run clubs in this country, because even the Bible says it. He who much is giving, much is expected. For how much of a behemoth these two clubs are, what they produce every season, I mean, it's below disappointment. I don't want us to go there. But why are these clubs making it look like the Football Association is a separate entity from who they are? These clubs make up the Football Association. They are the ones who put the guys there, from the president to whoever. They make the decisions. So now what I see is, we're happy that the clubs, solidarity with one another, and we're making demands of the FA. Who is the FA? Is the FA not the coming together of the clubs? And that is where the problem is. So that this issue about hooliganism, it is something like a cartel the clubs run. They all have it. Mike made reference to how club fans can go to the training grounds of their team and stop a coach from training the club, because there are elements in the officialdom who use these boys to achieve such aims, because they've got to push the coach out, but they are not sure if they can do it formally. So they need to create fear, panic, and especially for these expatriate coaches, they'll say, because my life is not safe. It's happened too many times in Kotoko and Hearts of Oak, in Adriana, in Chelsea, name them. They do it. These clubs are the center of all the rubbish that is going on in the Ghana Premier League. They own it, they run it, and whatever happens to it, they are to be blamed and nobody else. Okay, so we will start and issue a statement, and we want this and we want that. Who's going to make sure these things happen? It's the clubs. So I am not comfortable.
Through their representation.
I am not comfortable. If anyone tries to make it look like the Premier League is a separate entity from the Football Association, and the clubs are also a separate entity from, they are the same, all in one. And if they are going to fix this hooliganism problem, they are going to look themselves, sincerely, and say, we're the same people who put up these things, and we use them. Because for most of these clubs, so play the game and win 3 points at all costs. If you are playing at home, you've got to get that 3 points. And the 3 points, if we have to harass the referee. Listen, there was an African game in Accra many years ago. I'm not too sure. Was it the year after Hearts of Oak won the Maiden CAF Confed Cup? So I was at the stadium, and after the game, they drew the game with one of these Tunisian giants. I'm not too sure whether it was Etoile or Esperance. One of
those were always the crazy matches.
Those were the crazy games. It was in Accra, and I reported on the game, and I did interviews after the game, and the Hearts fans were complaining that monies had been given to one of the officials to give to the referee, and the referee didn't receive the money, and it sounded strange to people. I recorded this. I play on the radio, and I was hounded for days. I couldn't attend Hearts of Oak games simply because I'd come to report the truth. They had told me why. These officials had turned around to say to the supporters that this boy went to report this, and you've got to deal with him. So they use these funds, they create hooliganism to get the result. I covered a game the year Hearts of Oak won the Premier League, 2009 or so. in Brekum. It was an Arsenal game against Hearts of Oak. Ashanti Gold was taking on Kotoko.
Those two people,
So those 4 clubs were in the reckoning. And then in the course of the game, they had to create, or foment trouble. They had to create it artificially. People got onto the page. In the end, one game delayed. The result in the other game was something. So this is what these guys do, man.
Yeah.
And we're here trying to make it look like all of a sudden the Football Association must fix the mess. But the mess is being created by the clubs and it won't change.
Drop your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this channel.